Uncle, as we affectionately called him, was the chairman of Herald, though the title didn't exactly come with a fat paycheck, a swanky corner office, or even a cushy chair. What it did come with was his own personal chauffeur. Of course, the chauffeur was his daughter, who by default was also Herald staff. But still, a perk is a perk. Now, before you imagine him presiding over board meetings, let me clarify. He was the chairman, literally the man in charge of putting out the chairs in the pantry before breakfast, lunch and tea, and stacking them away afterwards. It was a demanding role requiring quick decision-making, spatial awareness, and a firm grasp of the ever-changing number of people present index. Was this workplace bullying? Not at all. He took the job with the gravitas of a Fortune 500 CEO. Granted, there were occasional operational hiccups. Sometimes he'd miscalculate, leaving one extra chair sitting awkwardly like an uninvited guest at the table. Other times, one of us would be left standing with a plate of food in hand. But hey, every great leader has their off days. Uncle was very disciplined though, unlike us, the self-proclaimed breakfast first, holiness later crew. While we'd make a beeline for the pantry the moment we arrived in the morning, Uncle would insist on saying his morning prayers first. This sacred ritual involved reading the Bible, reciting prayers, and if I'm not mistaken, also praying the rosary. The problem? We were hungry souls whose stomachs clearly didn't understand the concept of delayed gratification. So we'd form a strategic rescue mission to persuade him to come and eat first, promising he could resume his meditation afterwards. He'd always give in, though reluctantly, because we were persistent, taking turns to pop our heads in like spiritual saboteurs. Uncle, breakfast! Followed by our best pleading faces. Eventually, he'd sigh, close the Bible, and join us, perhaps wondering if Jesus ever had to deal with disciples who were this food-driven. As for whether his lessons on discipline and pray first rubbed off on us, let's just say no. But we did learn the valuable skill of negotiating with the deeply devout. Besides being the chairman, Uncle held several other prestigious positions. One was Master Shredder. And yes, that's exactly what it sounds like. We'd give him mountains of paper to shred, and he'd attack the task with the focus of a ninja and the dedication of someone who truly believed confidential waste was a matter of national security. He would only stop when the shredder itself waved the white flag, overheated, and went into early retirement. Another title he carried with pride was Tuesday Folding and Insertion Specialist. Every week, without fail, he would fold and insert the papers to get them ready for distribution. He had his allocated number of copies, and heaven help anyone who dared to borrow even one from his pile. This offense was met with the look, a glare so sharp it could slice paper without a shredder, followed by a sulk that could last until the next tea break. It didn't take long for us to learn the golden rule of the pantry kingdom. Never ever mess with Uncle's duties. Some territories are simply too dangerous to trespass. And like every hard-working employee, Uncle knew the value of the occasional break, usually in the form of a well-timed nap. But this wasn't just any nap, this was precision napping. He had the uncanny ability to sit, lean back in a chair, close his eyes, and somehow not topple over. It was like watching a circus act without the safety net. We were always impressed by his balance and poise. Well, except for that one time he tipped a little too far back. Or was it 2? Maybe 3. Honestly, who's counting? Certainly not us. We were too busy trying to look concerned while quietly stifling our giggles. Uncle would wake up, straighten his t-shirt and carry on as if nothing happened. The hallmark of a true professional. Another talent Uncle had was humming. Yes, humming. And loudly. It was less background music and more front row concert. The mystery was, we could never quite figure out what he was humming. Was it an English song, Tamil, Hindi, Gregorian chant, the soundtrack to an old P. Ramlee film? We never knew. But hum he did, joyfully, like a man entirely confident in his own playlist. One of the things we loved most about Uncle was that he hardly complained about anything. He was a man of few words and would eat whatever food was put in front of him without fuss. True, he had a sweet tooth, but his daughter guarded him like a Rottweiler. Still, every now and then, we'd mount a covert Operation Sugar Drop and sneak him something sweet. The satisfied sparkle in his eye was worth the risk of being caught. It was always a joy to see him join us for celebrations, be it birthdays, office gatherings, or random We Felt Like Cake days. Uncle wasn't just part of the Herald team, he was part of the Herald family. We will miss him dearly, our chairman, our master shredder, our Tuesday folding and insertion specialist, our morning meditator, and our mystery hummer. Farewell, Uncle. May you rest in eternal peace, and may heaven have enough chairs, shredders, and background music for you to feel right at home.